Good afternoon, colleagues. Bill Nolan from the Williams Group. I thought it would be interesting today. I want to talk a little bit about transitioning your practice. One of the things that was kind of the impetus for our video and audio recording today, over the last, I'd say, several weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, I've had several clients inquire to us about whether we are still involved in peer-to-peer transactions. As I'm sure many of you know and have worked with us over the years or attended seminars or listened to several of us lecture, I think it's probably fair to say that for the most part, the Williams Group has been kind of the market leader in all things transition. So we have a very large, and historically have had a very large exit strategy and succession planning practice, helping optometrists sell their practice. Obviously, with the advent of private equity over the last 3 to 4 years, that has brought a new player into our marketplace for people who are thinking about transitioning your practice. And one of the things that I thought might be important is, on one hand, to kind of dispel slightly some of the maybe the perception is in the market that we ourselves have transitioned away from just peer-to-peer transactions and have transitioned over to private equity. I want to assure all of you, nothing really could be further from the truth. If you looked at all the transactions in a given year that we are involved in, I would say overwhelmingly 75 out of 100 transactions are peer-to-peer. Very few of the total transactions that we do really involve private equity. Now, you might say to yourself, well, do you do private equity? Yes, we do. There's no question. And we're doing private equity because you, our clients and potential clients, asked us to get involved in that arena. We were not doing anything really in what is sometimes referred to as sell side representation. But so many of our clients came to us and said, hey, we have been approached by a private equity firm. We don't know much about this. We don't know how to go about even engaging in a conversation with these folks. And we'd like you to help us. Could you represent us? And because the mission of the Williams Group and the vision of our company for years has been helping private practices to be more successful, we thought it was well within our purview of helping our clients try to negotiate that world of private equity. But in many, many cases, again, overwhelmingly in 70 to 75% of the cases, private equity just isn't the right fit for many of our clients. So a lot of times clients will say to us, well, how do I know how to, whether it's a good fit for me to do private equity? Should I be looking at peer-to-peer? And there's a lot of layers to that onion. But as you start to kind of peel that back a little bit, what you start to see is that private equity has certain unique characteristics to it that, for example, just doesn't make it a good fit for everyone. As a just high-level general idea, a private equity transaction gives you, the seller, far less options and far less flexibility in how you're going to do the transaction than if you sell peer-to-peer. When you sell your practice to a peer, depending on your situation, your age, some of the things you might want to do with your life, selling to a peer actually sometimes is a much more viable option, even though you most likely will sell your practice for less money. There's no question we would be disingenuous if we tried to imply to you that selling your practice to another optometrist will garner the same amount of money in the sale as private equity. That just won't happen. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And one of them is because the banks are still financing peer-to-peer transactions at that kind of 65% multiple, where your average private equity transaction is generally at 90 to 110% multiple. But for lots of people, money is certainly not the only driving force. And so my desire to stay on and work, perhaps my desire to continue to have my health insurance paid through the practice, my desire to just divest myself of the kind of management responsibilities of owning a practice. Sometimes the collegiality of having another doctor in my practice really indicates that I might be a better fit for peer-to-peer than really private equity. So I hope that helps some of you. If you're interested in talking to us about the sale of your practice and transitioning, especially if you've identified perhaps an associate or another doctor that is interested in buying your practice, we'd love to chat with you about how our services can help you. Thanks.